Welcome to Hashtnagar Digital. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In a stunning twist that few could have predicted just a decade ago, the Philippines, long known as a recipient of international aid and development assistance, has now stepped onto the world stage as a lender, extending a remarkable $250 million loan to the European Union, one of the globe's most influential and established economic powerhouses. This is not a scene from a speculative novel or a distant future. This is reality, unfolding on February 9, 2026. The global order, once thought to be set in stone, is shifting dramatically before our very eyes. The Philippines' bold move is more than a financial transaction. It's a powerful signal that the era of emerging economies quietly following the lead of established powers is over. Today, nations like the Philippines are not just participating in the global economy, they are actively shaping its future, influencing decisions, and setting new precedents. This loan is a watershed moment, challenging the very definitions of developed and developing that have dominated international discourse for generations. It's a bold statement of confidence, resilience, and ambition, a declaration that the Philippines is ready to play a leading role on the world stage. For the European Union, accepting this loan is a pragmatic and necessary step in a time of economic uncertainty. For the Philippines, it's a moment of immense national pride, a testament to years of hard work, reform, and growth. Filipino business leaders and citizens alike celebrate this achievement, seeing it as proof that their country's economic ascent and resilience are now recognized globally. This single act will send ripples across continents, redrawing the maps of influence, opportunity, and cooperation for the 21st century. As trade routes shift and alliances evolve, the world is witnessing a new chapter, one where the unexpected becomes possible, and the future is shaped by those bold enough to seize it. The European Union, long a symbol of stability and unity, now finds itself at a pivotal moment in its history. For decades, the EU has represented peace, prosperity, and cooperation across a continent once divided by war. But today, the challenges it faces are more complex and urgent than ever before. The continent is weathering a perfect storm, an unprecedented convergence of crises that demand not only political will, but also massive financial resources. Economic uncertainty, geopolitical tensions, and the need for rapid innovation are all colliding at once, testing the very foundations of the European project. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine has forced the EU to step up like never before, committing over $90 billion in humanitarian and military aid to support its neighbor and defend European values. At the same time, European leaders are planning an ambitious $800 billion defense expansion by 2030, aiming to modernize their armed forces and ensure the continent's security in an increasingly unpredictable world. President Ursula von der Leyen has laid out a bold vision for the future, one that centers on strategic autonomy, where Europe can chart its own course without over-reliance on outside powers. This means investing in homegrown industries, developing advanced technologies, and reducing dependence on foreign military hardware and supply chains. The EU also envisions a resilient interconnected economy, one that can withstand shocks, adapt to new realities, and remain competitive on the global stage. To achieve these ambitious goals, the EU must look beyond its borders, forging new global partnerships and alliances that can bring fresh ideas, resources, and opportunities. Attracting investment from regions outside its traditional allies is now a top priority, as Europe seeks to diversify its economic relationships and tap into new sources of growth. The need for capital is urgent and immediate. Europe must find ways to fund not only the war effort and rearmament, but also a sweeping overhaul of its economy, infrastructure, and energy systems. This means financing everything from military upgrades and defense manufacturing to green energy projects and digital transformation, all at the same time. The scale of this transformation is staggering, requiring creativity, flexibility, and a willingness to embrace new partners and new ways of thinking. As a result, the EU is reaching out to unconventional partners, opening doors to countries and regions that were once on the periphery of its economic vision. This includes forging new ties with countries like the Philippines, whose growing economy and strategic location offer fresh opportunities for collaboration and mutual benefit. In this moment of transformation, The European Union stands at a crossroads. Its choices today will shape not only its own future, but also the contours of a new, more balanced global financial landscape for generations to come. The Philippines' transformation from aid recipient to EU creditor is a remarkable economic turnaround. Years of fiscal discipline, reforms, and a booming BPO sector have built up strong reserves and investment-grade ratings. The central bank now sees these reserves as a tool for influence, not just protection. Lending to the EU is a calculated, symbolic move, proof of the Philippines' new confidence and global standing. This act marks a definitive break from dependency, positioning the country as a serious player in international finance. The Filipino tiger has arrived, not with aggression, but with partnership. The $250 million loan was no accident. It's a calculated, market-based investment, not a simple act of foreign aid. This deal was meticulously negotiated, reflecting a new era in international finance where emerging economies like the Philippines are no longer just recipients, but active players shaping global markets. The agreement is rooted in mutual benefit, with both sides seeking to advance their strategic interests while minimizing risk. The funds are earmarked to support the European Union's ambitious defense expansion and ongoing aid to Ukraine. But there's a catch. A Buy European clause ensures that the capital directly stimulates EU industries, from advanced manufacturing to logistics. This means the money doesn't just flow out as aid, it circulates within the EU, creating jobs, boosting innovation, and reinforcing the continent's economic resilience in the face of geopolitical uncertainty. The Philippines, recognizing the opportunity, moved swiftly after the EU's call for new partners. By acting decisively, Filipino officials secured not only a lucrative financial arrangement, but also elevated the country's standing on the international stage. This bold move is about more than just profit. It's about influence, reputation, and forging alliances that will shape the region's future. The loan is already strengthening ongoing free trade negotiations, sending a clear message that the Philippines is committed to a deeper, more integrated partnership with Europe. It's a signal to other nations as well. The Philippines is ready to play a bigger role in global commerce, leveraging its capital and expertise to open new doors and create lasting economic ties. For the European Union, this deal represents a vital injection of diverse capital at a critical time, helping to stabilize markets and fund urgent priorities. For the Philippines, it's a strategic leap, one that promises not just financial returns, but also access to new markets, advanced technologies, and a stronger voice in international affairs. As one senior official put it, we're not just sending people anymore, we're sending capital. This shift marks a turning point in the nation's economic story, as the Philippines transitions from a labor exporter to a capital exporter, investing in global opportunities and reaping the rewards at home. Ultimately, this landmark deal sets a powerful new precedent for emerging economies everywhere, showing that with vision and bold action, they too can shape the future of global finance and diplomacy. The loan has redefined Manila-Brussels relations, giving the Philippines new diplomatic leverage. As an investor in the EU's security and economy, the Philippines now has a stronger voice in trade and geopolitical negotiations. This move challenges old perceptions, positioning the Philippines as a stable, forward-looking partner. It also signals to the US and China that emerging economies are charting their own course, diversifying alliances. But with influence comes responsibility. The Philippines is now entangled in European debates and the broader West Russia contest. The price of a seat at the table, greater stakes, and greater complexity. The Philippines is now a true player in global affairs. The loan is a smart diversification play for the Philippines, moving reserves from low-yield assets to strategic investments. For the EU, it's a key part of de-risking, broadening its funding base and boosting confidence in its new capital markets. The partnership accelerates trade talks, with the Philippines now a strategic investor, not just a trade partner. This could mean more jobs and exports for the Philippines, and more EU investment in Southeast Asia. As the EU's defense and tech sectors grow, Filipino industries may join new supply chains, creating a cycle of shared growth. This is modern partnership, shared risk, shared reward. The loan is a catalyst for deeper economic integration. The loan has sparked a wave of national pride, shattering the old image of the Philippines as a perpetual borrower. Filipinos see this as a return on decades of hard work and remittances, a moment of vindication. The story inspires youth and entrepreneurs, showing the nation can be an equal partner on the world stage. Editorials hail a new era, but public scrutiny remains. Is this the best use of reserves, and will it benefit ordinary citizens? The conversation is now about pride and purpose, demanding transparency and inclusive growth. The Philippines is celebrating, but also holding its leaders accountable. Analysts call the loan a masterstroke of financial diplomacy, buying influence in Brussels for a modest sum. Experts say the Philippines has turned its reserves into a tool of statecraft, setting an example for other emerging economies. For the EU, the deal validates its new partnership strategy and shows its capital markets can attract global investment. Southeast Asian economists see this as a sign of the Philippines' growing sophistication and strategic ambition. Both sides call it a win-win. The Philippines gains influence and returns. The EU secures vital funding. Diplomats frame it as a graduation to a new level of partnership. This is a new chapter in EU-Indo-Pacific relations. The Philippines' loan to the EU is more than a financial footnote. It's a turning point in global order. It marks the end of a unipolar world and the rise of new, unexpected partnerships. Emerging economies are now architects of global stability, not just recipients of aid. For the Philippines, it's a declaration of sovereignty. For the EU, a step towards strategic autonomy. This deal will shape trade, diplomacy, and security for years to come. The challenge: build on this momentum with transparency and shared benefit. The world is changing, one bold partnership at a time.